Hi guys, welcome to Real Football Talk. For those of you still watching, not subscribed, please do subscribe below in the link. We have Famik and Adi with us today. We'll be discussing Everton versus Tottenham. Adi, what did you make of the setup by Tottenham? Was it very negative, going three at the back, or do you reckon it was forced?
I think there potentially was two reasons for it. One, I think he was expecting Everton to play the wing back system, three at the back too, which they have been doing recently. So I think maybe that was part of the reason is to match up with the Everton system. But I think the other reason is just doesn't trust his back line. So getting an extra defender in, I think Mourinho was hoping would give them more stability, but it made no difference because all three defenders were poor. They all sit off, they all ball watch. None of them were proactive during the game. So having the extra defender actually made no difference to the way they defended.
Famik, the first goal, obviously, it was a penalty. Would you say it's a penalty? It looked very soft.
It is a tough one. I kind of get why it's given, but if it was against me or my team, then I wouldn't be happy about it. What I would say is that I don't think it was a clear and obvious error that VAR had to get involved. Like the touch was slight. You actually have to look at replays to confirm there was a touch.
Yeah.
So I realistically wouldn't have given it, and I wouldn't have been mad if it wasn't given, but I get why it was given after watching the VAR replays.
It's tough, but it's also consistent because those penalties have been given the last few years. United get a lot of those tap ones. Liverpool get it a lot. Salah and Mane get a lot of those soft touch ones where, everyone justifies it because there's a touch. I mean, no one likes it other than strikers, I think.
I mean, even until that point, or until Tottenham scored, it was Everton that was dominating. I mean, it just seems like Tottenham couldn't get into the game. What was that down to? Was it down to Everton, Adi, or was it down to just Tottenham being very poor because they didn't create anything?
I think up until the goal, Everton were the better team, but not completely dominating. But I think after they equalized, they totally dominated that half. And the problem for Spurs was their inability to play out from the back. Their passing was terrible today. They couldn't handle the press. None of the players were willing to take the ball under pressure. So then what happened was they kept just giving the ball away because no one was showing for the ball. So whenever Reguilon or whoever had the ball, they look up, and other than Kane, no one actually wanted it.
Yeah, it's funny when you watch Tottenham. Tottenham fans will tell you they have a lot of gifted technical players, but in reality, those same gifted technical players, compared to the other teams that Tottenham are competing with, aren't as gifted and technical as they're supposed to be. The only one that is, I would say, is very technical is Ndombele, but he is, after 10, 15 minutes, he's tired. He doesn't want the ball anymore because he's tired, and he doesn't want to lose it because when he has the ball and he's on form, he does great things, but he can't be the only person in your midfield that you're looking for. Who played with him today? Was it Hojbjerg?
Hojbjerg, yeah.
Hojbjerg as well.
Hojbjerg is another one. He shows for the ball, but it's that fake showing where he's showing behind players in positions where you wouldn't realistically play the pass. But he looks busy, but he doesn't actually do anything apart from kick ankles.
Hojbjerg is a legend at pointing at the player he wants you to pass it to,
Exactly.
and then going behind a player. So he makes sure the pass into him is difficult, and then he points at the defender to go play it over there, not to me. So that was the reason. Actually, they had no options, and they kept giving the ball away because it's panic clearance. And Everton's pressing was very good today. It was really good. So. I'm surprised with the extra man at the back. You'd think Tottenham would have the ability to play around Everton's
not with
press.
Jose as manager.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They were just, as soon as the options were there, they were just clearing it anyway. So, that's the real main, I would say that's the main reason why they got dominated in the game, was because they just cannot keep the ball. They don't have the players for it.
But this thing, everyone was raving about Hojbjerg and how great he was as a central, the best buy of the season and everything. So,
but this was coinciding with Tottenham's good form. That's why when form is good, it's easy to act like certain players are performing well, because their deficiencies aren't being shown. But what's happening now is, because Tottenham are having a bad period of time, they are noticing these deficiencies. For example, Bruno Fernandes scores a lot of goals, key player for Man United, and he is usually a game changer and a game winner. But when he doesn't score or assist, you notice how bad his performances actually are. Hojbjerg is going through the same thing, but Hojbjerg doesn't assist or score anyway. So when his team aren't winning, it looks even worse for him.
Yeah, but I think there's big difference as well. I mean, with Fernandes, you can still see his undoubted quality. With Hojbjerg, when he's off form, he actually just looks like a rubbish player. He doesn't even look like an average player. He just looks like guys running around a yard off the pace. I mean, today, every time he pressed, it was from so deep, it was easy for everyone to play around him. And it just makes him look slow. And when he was getting praised, it was actually because of his off-the-ball work, how good he was at winning the ball back.
Yeah.
And now, because they're sitting so... well, they tried to press, but from a deep position, his pressing has become nullified because it's so easy to play around him at the moment. So, Hojbjerg, I thought, looked bad. I mean, the whole team didn't look good other than Harry Kane. And funny thing is, whenever Harry Kane went into midfield, suddenly they'd get an attack going because they had the confidence to give the ball to him because he's showing for it. No one else really wanted it.
It's funny you say that, because I didn't think he played well up until his first goal. I thought he was a bit sloppy. He didn't really look like he wanted it. And his goal came out of nowhere, and that energized him a little bit.
He was playing really deep. That's my point. He ended up going so deep. He was playing more like a midfielder, and Ndombele was playing more like the striker.
Yeah.
And I actually, at one point before they scored, I was thinking, is this the actual tactic where Kane is actually playing the midfield and Ndombele is pushing up? Because all I saw every time was Kane was in midfield and not actually up front. The one time he's up front, the mistake happens and he scores. So he wasn't even attacking, man. He wasn't even getting near the box. He was that deep for the first 15, 20 minutes.
What do you think? Do you think he's going to leave Tottenham? Because I'm hearing that he wants to now.
I think he wants it. Well, he said it, innit, or something.
Can anybody actually afford him?
Well, how much would he be is the question. 100 million?
Oh, it's Daniel Levy.
150.
Yeah, and it's Daniel Levy. So
yeah,
to sell him to a team in England, it will be quite a lot. And I don't think the teams outside of England are going to pay for him.
I think it might be a case of cash plus player.
Who do you think? Man United?
I know. I mean, both City and United are going to go for him. So
yeah, I suppose.
And the rumors are he'd prefer to go to Manchester than to a London club. So
I mean, there wasn't any chance of him coming.
Arsenal can't afford him.
Well, there's no one else. I mean, I don't think Liverpool would pay that type of money for someone that age, and so it's only the two Manchester clubs really in the running if he wants to stay in the Prem.
Saying that, obviously Haaland is also maybe available. Doesn't that throw a spanner into the whole thing?
I think, well, that's bad news for Haaland.
You reckon?
You think?
Yeah, because I think.
But you can potentially get him for cheaper, Haaland, and he's younger.
How can you get him for cheaper?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Haaland's not going to
150
be.
million.
Man,
He might be.
you have to pay the agent 20 odd mil, his dad 10 odd mil, and then pay him 30 mil a season.
Okay.
I
True.
don't think that the rumors of what they want might not be right, or it's probably exaggerated, but still you could get the idea with Mino Raiola that they want silly money.
Yeah. To be fair, if they
in
both
every
leave,
aspect.
I don't think Haaland would be going to Man United. I think it will be Haaland to City, Kane to United, because Solskjaer doesn't seem to like Raiola, and he probably would do everything in his power to not be involved with Raiola.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Manchester United as a club don't like Raiola anyway, because they've had negative dealings with him. Even in the whole Pogba situation, contract renewal, he's been very difficult to deal with. So I think they'd prefer not to, but for Haaland, they would make an exception, because obviously Ole knows Haaland from training him before. So, and everyone knows he's a generational talent. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to back down when it comes to a generational talent. But obviously, I mean, I'd prefer Kane right now because he's guaranteed in the Prem. He knows the Prem.
No.
Been there, done it.
So Famic's going for Haaland, it seems.
Can you imagine how many more penalties Man United are gonna get if they have Harry Kane talking to the refs?
I think
them.
it depends on which team you're talking for. For example, if it's a Man City team, I don't think it matters too much who their striker is in general. Like, they will be fine.
Well, I mean, they won't miss that many penalties anymore.
Like, even if it's Haaland, as long as they have a capable striker, Man City will always create chances.
Yeah.
Man United, on the other hand, would be better off with Kane because Kane does a lot more than just score. Man United need a complete forward, and that's what Harry Kane is.
But if you look at the way Harry Kane's playing right now, I mean, he's effectively playing the false nine role for Spurs every week.
He's playing the proper 9, the false 9, and the 10 for Spurs.
Yeah, so I could see him really fitting into Pep's system, especially the way he's doing it, dropping deep and creating the space. So, yeah, I mean,
but I don't think that's what Pep would want with his current City team. He just needs someone to put away the goals, and Gabriel Jesus is not doing it.
But I think definitely, I think Pep's system is he wants a striker who creates the space. So I think Chelsea, United, City are gonna go for all. It's a merry-go-round. They're gonna go for all of them. They're gonna go for Aguero, Haaland, Kane, and
I'm gonna put it out there. I want Aguero at Arsenal.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, do you think Harry Kane is gonna beat Thierry Henry's record of 20 assists and 20 goals in the season?
How many has he got? He's got 20 goals already.
Yeah, and I think he's got 13 or 14 assists.
13 assists.
Nah.
6 games?
7 games. Nah, I don't think so. Plus he's injured.
Depends on who they're playing. Because Tottenham
injured.
are very capable of scoring 5 goals in a stupid game and Kane getting all the assists.
Some tough fixtures coming out. But either way, I don't think so. You know what? I think he's going for the golden boot.
Who is the top scorer at the moment? Salah?
Now it's Kane.
Now it's Kane.
Now it's Kane, yeah. But he was joined with Salah, so Salah's 2 behind now.
Lacazette's catching up.
The fixtures the hard fixtures you can say they have is against probably Leeds away and Leicester.
Kane will get a couple assists in Leeds.
That's it. The rest is like against Aston Villa, Wolves, Sheffield, and Southampton. So,
but Aston Villa and Wolves are tough games. I mean, they're not.
But it is also possible.
Listen, Famik, stop being the devil's advocate. I don't want him to be on Henry's record, okay?
I don't either.
Leave it, all right?
But if it's Harry Kane,
Leave it out there.
So ask the question. I'm saying no. It's not happening. Kane's gonna go for the golden boot. He ain't looking to assist much now. And he may be injured. He may be injured. We don't know for how long.
But
And
who
that
is
Harry
he gonna
Kane
assist to? There's nobody really getting up there.
Well, that-
Son,
Ooh.
Kane to Son. That's what it is.
But that's a real good point, because today Song was totally anonymous in the whole game. It's one of the worst I've seen him play, and he does not play well when they put him up front.
It's funny you say that. When Harry Kane is the leading man, Son tends not to play well. He plays his best football when he has to step up. When Harry Kane is not available, you see Son have his purple patch every season. Same thing. He hasn't scored in like 7-8 games now, hasn't he?
Something like that.
So he scored last game
Has he?
Oh,
against
shame.
United.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
But he hadn't scored before that, I think, since February or something. But I mean, his performance was terrible, and he didn't offer anything. He didn't even do his usual runs in behind. He didn't offer anything today. So strange formation, because the players didn't look like they understood it. Only when Lamela came on did Tottenham like have a slightly more of an attacking threat, and that was more because of Lamela's off the ball work, not because of their football, because they were still losing the ball and couldn't put 2-3 passes together from the back.
But on the subject of goal scoring and strikers, and the fact that we're spending a lot of time talking about Tottenham, what do you make of Richarlison's performances since Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't been featuring?
You know, honestly speaking, I've seen Richarlison play so much, but he's one of those guys who would get 3-4 chances and then take one, like guilted chances. That's been the biggest problem with him. I feel he personally doesn't finish enough. He gets so many chances and then he'll only finish one. But it looks very dangerous.
He was the lone striker today. James Rodriguez was behind him, and he dominated all 3 of the Tottenham defenders. He made them work. I thought you can tell he needs to improve on his finishing, because he keeps going side on before he shoots, so he kind of gives it away what he's trying to do too soon. So he needs to work on disguising his shot slightly, because it's a bit too easy to read at the moment that he's always trying to bend it around the keeper and open out really. But yeah, I think he's looking quite good. I mean, his first touch was excellent today. He brought a lot of things into play. He turned his man. I thought he played very well today. Should have done better with the chances he had, but that's where he's at. He's a winger, converted winger, so he still needs to work on his finishing and his killer instinct.
Is he another Theo Walcott?
But movement is definitely.
Theo Walcott's a better finisher by far.
Richarlison's a much better player.
Yeah, Richarlison's a better player, but when it comes to finishing, Theo's clear.
I mean, on the subject we were talking about before with regards to Tottenham, they were playing with Gareth Bale, I think Son and Kane up top with Lucas Moura.
Did Bale play?
No, he didn't play. This is
okay.
I'm saying why have they kind of gone away from that? I mean, they were getting success from it.
They were. They had a decent period, but Gareth Bale is still not quite the player he used to be. So his performances are hit and miss. Kane is always going to be the same. And Son is also a player that can be streaky. He can have a lot of good games followed by a lot of bad games. So at most of the time, it really is just Harry Kane versus whoever they're playing. And that is Tottenham's issue. Not to mention they've got a coach in Mourinho who doesn't really coach attacking play or attacking patterns. His focus is on not conceding and not losing. So he is sort of left up to the players to decide what they want to do, which is why I think you find Harry Kane a lot of the time all over the pitch, because he hasn't been told what he's specifically supposed to do, so he's just making it up. Well, not even making it up. He's deciding. He's making the decisions on the pitch.
I think it's funny because when Spurs lost to City and they played an attacking formation, I made the claim that this is what Mourinho does. He plays the attacking game against one of the big teams.
Say it doesn't work,
and then it doesn't work, and they use it as a. But what he did was he actually continued for another 3-4 games. So then what I did was I actually on one of the podcasts apologize, saying, you know what, I think he's actually going to an attacking philosophy, and guess what he does the next game? He goes back to his all-out defensive tactics. I was like, damn it, why did you do it a week earlier? So I stayed quiet on the whole topic because I'm like, I should have stuck to my instincts and my guns because the only difference was because when at United, he did this all the time.
Yeah.
After one game against the big team, he's suddenly go to an attacking formation, then lose, and then he'll use that as an excuse to go to defensive football again. So I was expecting the exact same thing after the City game, but he actually stuck with Bale and the attacking formation until the Arsenal loss, and then that was it. He's just gone back to his workers, everyone who works hard for the team and runs around, and so suddenly it's a weird formation, it's like a 4-2-2-2 formation recently. It's just strange. So yeah, and even that's backfired because the players he's brought in haven't performed so nice, chopping and changing all the time. He's dropped Tanganga, Sanchez, Mora today. So I think he's really struggling to find the type of players that suit his tactics.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the guy he replaces in the semi-final of the Champions League.
What?
Yeah, Poch. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, everyone knows Poch was a. I mean, now when you look at it, what a phenomenal job he did to keep. I think 7 years in a row he had Spurs in the top 4.
Yeah.
What a record.
I think that's a terrible record. Arsene Wenger did it for what, 25?
Arsene Wenger had a better head start, and they spent more money.
Yeah.
For Pochettino to do it with Levy as the chairman, plus building a stadium, and plus playing in Wembley for good 2 3
Don't include the stadium.
Exactly, because we've done the same.
No.
Well, you didn't leave Highbury for 2 seasons. Or 3 seasons.
They didn't leave. They left by choice because they didn't build their stadium fast enough. That's the
on
point.
Them. But still, they're all factors that count against you, and he was able to overcome it. So
I'm not giving you that one.
But on the where does it leave Tottenham and Everton? Because obviously the draw doesn't help either team.
Neither of them are finishing in the top 4.
Tottenham
the top 4 race is Leicester, Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool. Man United and City are finishing first and second. Then the last 2 places are between those 4 teams.
I think where it leaves them is on the performance, really. The performance of Everton was excellent today. I mean, that after they equalized, they totally dominated. They should have won this game by more than a couple of goals. The chances they had, Ricardo had some really good chances. Iwobi had one decent chance. Godfrey had a really good chance. James Rodriguez had. So they actually created quite a few chances in the back end of the first half. Even the start of the second half, they created, good half chances. So, and even towards the end, I mean, the only team that was going for the win and looked like they're going to win was Everton.
Yeah.
Right near then, James had a shot. Coleman had a decent opportunity. So I think the performance is going to be positive for Everton because they ultimately dominated Spurs, and they know that they should have won that game on chances and on performance. For Spurs, I mean, I think it's going to just worry everyone even more because they just got outplayed by an Everton team that they expect to be performing better again. They expect to be doing better, and yeah, I think it's more positives for Everton than it is for Tottenham because
Oh, definitely.
the Tottenham project, you don't know where it's going. I mean, those players look so tired and lethargic at the moment.
But that's the
You
thing.
don't
They
know where
haven't
it's
got Europe
going.
to deal with anymore. So I mean,
That's the strange thing about
what's
it.
the excuse?
It's like the players just don't want to play. They're not enjoying their football. It just seems like
It's
that.
because
There's
of
only a
who
few
their
players
coach
playing
is.
100%.
So I mean, the question that comes up in my head is Mourinho going at the end of the season? Is he getting the sack or is he leaving?
I doubt it.
I think he is. I can't see
If they don't finish in Europe, Famik.
Listen, there are some other teams who are finishing out of the European places full stop, and their manager is being told that he is the rebuild king, he is the focal point, he is there to stay. So, Mourinho is probably in the same boat.
No, yeah, but I think there's a big difference between that. Arteta has an
How do you know I was
alienated
talking
every player.
about Arteta?
You only ever talk about Arsenal. You are
Famik
Mr.
slyly
Arsenal.
just slid that in.
You are nothing but Mr. Arsenal. I think every viewer knows who you're talking about. Yeah. So the Arteta, the thing is, he ain't alienate everybody in the squad.
He's doing that to Aubameyang now.
No.
Well, now the malaria thing is just gonna, help ice that over. But I just think, it's getting to a stage where it just looks like, there's too many players that aren't happy to play for Jose.
To be fair, this is a typical Mourinho. This is the stages. There's certain stages of Mourinho before he leaves, and this is one of those stages.
Yeah, he that's the funniest thing. He always seems to give up before before he gets the sack.
Yeah,
he seems to be the one who gives up more than anything.
And then you
He's
can
doing
always
the
tell.
same thing now.
He'll start off with, the team are well. Then he'll go to the point that he hasn't got money. Then he'll say his players are shit. Then he'll say, he'll just start talking about random stuff like he's not feeding he'll always feed his children or something like that. Like what?
It's funny.
Yeah,
Pogba came up and made a comment against Mourinho.
Yeah, I saw that. Amazing stuff.
I was really happy he did that. You know why?
So was I.
Because these managers, they always get to do post-match, pre-match, midweek conferences, and they have so much opportunities to have digs and control the narrative against players, which Mourinho did against Pogba many times. So I like the fact that Pogba has taken the opportunity when he's been given an interview to dish it back, because at the end of the day, he had to copy a lot from Mourinho. Whether it was done through sign language or not, it don't matter. Everyone knew he was always talking about Pogba when he was slagging off certain players.
Yeah, because even now, it's still a thing to Pogba. Some Man United fans dislike Pogba because of that period he had with Mourinho.
Yeah, so I'm glad. I think Mourinho is not a dignified manager, so it makes no difference. If he gets called out, it's so be it. The surprising thing is, I think Pogba is the first player to do it. I mean, the amount of players he's upset, no one's really gone and spoken out against him.
I think Luke Shaw said something, didn't he?
Light, but this, Pogba was as blatant.
Pogba was blatant, wasn't it? More.
Yeah, Pogba said his name, isn't it?
I mean, he was laughing at him. He was laughing at Mourinho. So I don't like it normally, because I don't think you should. But when it comes to Mourinho, who's a player who loves throwing players under the bus and blaming players all the time, I think it's fair enough. About time someone spoke up for themselves against Mourinho.
Do you think this is kind of like the end of the road for Mourinho in terms of like top teams? When they look at Mourinho, would they go for someone like him who alienates the club, the players? I mean, leaves the club in a difficult position.
When you say top team, When you say
Elite.
top team, who do you mean?
Elite Champions League team.
The Champions League teams.
But he could go back to Porto, and I don't think it'll be an issue. I
But
think
that's
he
not
could
an
go back
elite
to
team.
Inter
That's
Milan,
not-
and I don't think it'll be an issue.
That's not.
But they're Champions League teams, no?
No, the
You know,
only
I'm
we're
talking
talking
the likes
elite, the
of
ones that
Juventus,
can
Madrid.
challenge for the Champions League.
Oh, then no. But he hasn't been able to do that since he left
Real
Chelsea.
Madrid.
I'd put Chelsea in there the second time because Chelsea
Yeah.
have the resources. Man United weren't at a level to compete with Champions League winners, and Tottenham definitely aren't. Tottenham is his level now. This is where he's only going to go sideways. He's not going to go up.
I think it's going to come down to how patient he's willing to be. There'll always be one of these top teams that eventually gets desperate and looks at his CV
Mid-season signing.
and go for him. But the thing is, he's going to have to wait at least a season, which he never does. So then he ends up taking a project that doesn't suit him, like
Exactly.
the Spurs one, like the United one, because he gets bored of being at home and being out of football for over a year. So then he ends up taking a project that doesn't suit him. And yeah, I agree with Fami. I mean, Inter is probably the only club that would be willing to take him back with open arms. But they've got Conte and they're in love with Conte, so I can't see that happening. And then
Conte's getting the best out of Lukaku.
Plus, their owners are in real financial difficulties. So I don't think even Conte may not stay for long, because if he doesn't get back in the transfer window, he doesn't normally stay at a club. So now that the owners of Inter in real financial difficulties, there's no guarantee Conte will stay beyond next year.
Wow. I mean, on that, guys, let's end it here for today. Thank you both for coming on. For all you guys watching, please do subscribe, share out to your family and friends,
and like.
And leave your comments about Famic's views.
Yeah, I'll respond to all of them. Don't worry.
Especially on Vanek's view that Arteta should be getting the sack before Mourinho.
What?
I think they should get the sack at the same time.
Yeah. I said you got to get better at reading between the lines when it comes to Famic's statement.
At least, yeah.
Be a bit more blatant.
Mourinho is still in a position to get into Europe. Arteta is at risk of being the first Arsenal manager to not feature in any European competition. It's in over 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
And yet he is being told that they are backing him 100%. So even if, as long as he doesn't get relegated, he's going to be the Arsenal manager for the next season, 100%. That's poor.
But I think he's going to get another chance. That's what's.
I hope he wins Europa League.
Yeah.
But even without winning anything, don't you think at least you could see signs of him building something?
I would like us to win the Europa League because it just gives us money. I'm honestly past what Arteta's doing.
But not just money, you can attract better players as well.
I think Arsenal will attract the same players with or without the Champions League, because those same players aren't the top players anymore. They are the level just below. They are the I can't even think of anybody.
No, but those players are also wanted by other clubs, and if those clubs are Champions League clubs, they'll end up going to them instead of Arsenal.
Partey came.
They're going for talent. They're going for
Just
talent.
putting that out there.
Sorry?
Partey came without Champions League football.
Yeah, but he's the only one.
Yeah, see,
I don't think anyone else is going to be making that mistake.
Huh?
I don't think anyone else is going to be making.
You'll see. We're signing Haaland. We're signing Haaland and Mbappe.
Party fell for the 2 cup wins and thought, Arsenal's coming back.
You'll see.
Many people did. No one predicted Arsenal to struggle like this.
Exactly, and yet Arteta's still there. You see what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
Enough about Arsenal, guys. This is the Spurs podcast. Thank you.
And Everton.
We barely spoke about Everton. Everton are terrible.
They played very good.
Everton played very good, but they always do the same thing. They will look like they're about to do something this season and just fade away as normal. Just like Tottenham, actually, it's the history of the Tottenham.
Well,
That's
they need to learn how to clear the ball with their legs and not try and stoop their head down to head at a ball that's easier to kick. It's cost them 2 goals.
Yeah. But great finishes by Harry Kane, I won't lie.
Yeah, it is. Give is called a awesome finish as well. Left foot.
I missed it, so I can't even comment.
Yeah, second was really good. First time, but that's quite a lot easier when it comes on to you the way.
I'll tell you who scored a great goal this week. Saka.
All right. On that note, guys, I'm gonna call it because
Saka is a wonder kid. He's winning Wonder Boy this year, next year, whatever. Yeah. Star boy Saka.
Thank you.